Welcome to Loremen, a podcast about local legends and obscure curiosities from days of yore. I'm James Shakeshaft.
And I'm Alasdair Beckett-King.
Alasdair, what an episode we have coming up.
Would I be right in saying that there was a guest deputy Loreperson?
You'd be 100% right, because it was Marek Larwood.
Off of We Are Clang.
Off of Clang, the internet. He's got his own card game called Pooh Man. I've played it, it's great.
So what's the story?
Oh, this is one of my favourite cryptid/UFO stories. It's the tale of Sam the Sandown Clown. Alasdair.
Hello, James.
How are you?
James, I'm excited because it's your birthday.
I'm a bit excited because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I thought we were doing this podcast later today, and so I had more time to prepare a birthday song. So I very quickly prepared you a little birthday song. So please.
A birthday song?
A little birthday song. Don't be too impressed, okay?
Are you going to claim that you wrote the birthday song?
I'm not claiming I wrote the birthday song.
Good.
And if this birthday song replaces the conventional birthday song,
Ooh.
I mean, that's out of my hands.
You're going to get some sweet coin.
Well, hopefully, yeah, the royalties on this. So if you use this for someone whose name is James, credit me.
Will do.
Happy birthday, little Jimmy Shakes. What a difference another birthday makes. That's as far as I got.
Oh!
Couldn't think of anything to rhyme with double denim apart from Goodbye Lenin, and it was hard to work that into a birthday message.
No, because I was born 4 days before John Lennon died, so maybe...
Oh, so Goodbye Lennon rather than Lenin.
You came just before we said goodbye, Lennon. You enjoy the feeling and look of double denim.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the tune, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if I'd use the word tune. Still, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure that counts for more than an expensive gift or
yes.
chocolates or anything could have meant to you.
Definitely. Well, the fun doesn't stop. No, the prizes keep coming. The gifts keep coming. In a way, I'm giving you a gift on my birthday. You know, like in those offices where you have to bring a cake in.
Or the Lord of the Rings.
Don't know it that well.
That's how the hobbits do it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hobbits and officers, it's the same.
What I've got for you today, Alasdair, on my birthday is the gift of a deputy Loreperson.
Are they going to burst out of a present?
Yeah, like in Under Siege. It's he, no less.
Oh, okay. So you've narrowed it down to humans. So I appreciate that.
It's a human man. He's a comedian. He is a podcaster. He is a rambler. He is a YouTubist. I think that's how you describe them. He's an inventor of games. It's Marek Larwood. He's basically like a funny Leonardo da Vinci.
Hello, Marek.
I've done a birthday song.
Ooh la la.
Really? In that amount of time? Because I had half an hour for mine, so yours is going to make me look quite bad.
It's the same as your tune.
Again, we keep using the word tune.
Happy birthday, Jimmy Shakes. I hope you got some creamy bakes. I really hope you don't die soon and you enjoyed this lovely tune.
Oh, the note of mystery that came in right at the end there. I didn't. Wow.
Well, I'm a very bad singer. Only a month ago, I went to do a read-through for a musical, and I told my agent they do know that I can't sing. I don't know why they've picked me. She said, it's all right, there'll be no singing. Turns out there was singing. They handed out musical sheets, and everyone else at the 3-day workshop was in a West End musical.
Oh, wow.
It was really embarrassing, but... For £100 a pop, £100 a day, I didn't mind being humiliated for 8 hours straight.
Oh, God, that's awful. I'm a terrible singer, and I've been in school musicals and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'd always try and give me the songs that could be talked.
I would have thought maybe a baritone for you, like the tallest guy from a barbershop quartet.
If I really try, I've got a deep bass baritone voice, but I'm all over the shop.
A DBBV.
Yeah, DBBV. Yes.
Can you read music?
If I think really hard and go E, G, B, D, F.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that sounds like.
Oh, I'm worried that our combined musical ignorance I don't know if we are going to be able to tell quite how bad the singing in this episode is before we put it out.
I'm sure people on the internet will tell us that it's great.
Okay.
Well, I was talking to Marek and I was watching his wonderful YouTube videos and I remembered that Marek is from the Isle of Wight. And I remembered that there's a really good story from the Isle of Wight that we have yet to cover. It's almost too mainstream for us, this story, because it has been covered on other podcasts.
Oh, okay. All right.
Friend of the show, Astonishing Legends, have covered it. And if you want all the facts, that's the place to go. But if you want just the very fun facts, stick with us and listening. This is the tale of Sam the Sandown Clown.
What?
Sam the Sandown Clown.
What a name.
I mean, this actually happened around the back of my high school, pretty much, where I went to high school. In Sandown on the Isle of Wight.
Is that how you say Sandown?
Yeah, Sandown. It sounds like you're sanding down the sand. It sounds quite weird saying Sam the Sandown Clown.
You could sand this clown down, which is becoming even more difficult to say.
Is it a wooden clown?
Well, you'll find out when we get into the tale.
Visualising a wooden clown?
Then you're visualising Sam the Sandown Clown.
Wow.
Is this clown got blue gloves on and 3 fingers?
What? No, I didn't understand the question. The answer is yes.
Is this clown got gloves on?
Is this clown got gloves on?
I've been reading up about it, this thing. And what happened, right? There were these 2 children back in 1970. We're talking early 70s. These 2 kids were playing around. There's a golf course there, isn't there, Marek, in Sandown?
Yeah, there's a golf course and there's a sort of various holiday camps. I've read sort of 2 different reports. One says they're on holiday, but one's not really clear about it. They sort of strayed away from the golf course into sort of some marshy area by the Yar River.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not actually that posh.
It is next to a golf course. That sounds quite posh.
And then they heard some strange ambulance siren type sounds.
The 2 children, they're about 8, I think, weren't they? 7 or 8? They described it as an ambulance-like sound.
Right, okay. This was the 70s, so this would be the classic, "Ooh," not like the modern...
When did they change the siren sounds?
I don't know. Whenever I hear an ambulance now, it's just random noise.
My wife always thinks that, when a police car, sometimes they do just a little whoop. They just give a little whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife thinks that's just a very shy policeman. It's like, I want you to get out of the way, but I don't want to cause a scene.
Maybe it's a minor crime, like petty theft or something.
The policeman just thought about a crime for a second. Whoop. No, we're all right, actually. That was solved. Yeah, so the girl's called Faye, isn't she?
And the boy wasn't named. And they heard this siren sound and they saw this clown drop a book or something in the river. We should describe what it was. It's not, they say it was 7 foot tall.
Yes.
And it had a strange round face, which looks like it was drawn on with triangle eyes and a sort of weird mouth and a pointy hat on the top.
Just a slot for a mouth with yellow lips and sort of white papery cheeks.
It's worth Googling just to look at the picture, isn't it?
Yeah, have a look at the picture.
It's worth Googling Sandown Clown to see the depiction of the clown.
The main report I've got it from is, going to have a run up to saying this, Bufora, the British UFO, then RNA record archive probably, Bufora, called an Italian cheese.
And he had a microphone and a weird sort of sound system, like a karaoke system, which he used to speak through.
What, he had amplification?
Yeah.
We've never met a cryptid that brought its own sound to the gig. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's got his own PA. And he had no neck as well. He was 7 feet tall with no neck and a big... He was quite hulking, I imagine, from the frame. He had white trousers and some sort of smock on his top. And protruding from that were like wooden slats. And on the sides of his head, he had like wooden aerials. And I think his head was wooden, wasn't it?
You tell me, James. It sounds like I would go for a wooden head.
He was a broadly wooden creature.
Imagine it's like a sort of wooden David Bowie when he went through that clown phase in,
Yes.
I can't remember what.
Ashes to Ashes video, I think.
Ashes to Ashes. Closest image that comes to mind.
But wooden.
Yeah.
That bit where all the colours are changing and stuff on the beach.
The drawings, he looks quite like Frank Sidebottom. I can't tell if he's more or less scary.
Yeah, David Bowie and Frank Sidebottom, exactly in between those two.
Yeah.
So it could have been a sort of David Bowie tribute act.
Yeah, a Frank Sidebottom infused. David Bowie tribute act. And as we say, he's got his own PA system, so he's very bookable.
I used to work at hotels on the Isle of Wight, so I had to write the adverts for bands in the hotels every evening. And because the budgets were really, really small, they were just one-man bands or couples doing it with really bad names and really bad equipment. So I don't want to jump the gun too fast, but it could have been a David Bowie tribute act who lost his music in the river and was pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
But we should talk about what happened first before we come up with a conclusion, shouldn't we, really? I apologise.
No, but I think when a Wood and David Bowie / Frank Sidebottom tribute act is staring you in the face, you've got to call it out. That's fine.
Yes.
You've got to say something. At first they saw him from a distance in the shallows. He dropped a book. It says the figure fumbled with a book, dropped it into the water and splashed about to retrieve it. And then it went into a metallic hut. They describe its walking as a sort of strange hopping motion with knees raised high.
Wow.
So it sounds like it's like a sort of a marionette kind of thing, like a big...
Yeah, he's skipping over the marshy ground.
It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, the clowns are terrifying anyway, but a clown that moved like some sort of alien being was 7 foot tall.
And made out of wood.
Yeah. Why would you approach that?
Well, they didn't. When the thing came out of its metal hut with its little sort of PA system and the wailing noise returned and the kids ran. Obviously.
Oh, so that the ambulance sound was his jam. That was his music.
I think it might have just been like feedback. He seems quite klutzy.
It does sound like it could be a feedback loop, yeah. Because he's got the mic too near the amp.
And he's kind of, he's dropping his book. He's stumbling around in the water. He's running like he needs the loo. And then he comes out and he's with the mic. It's one of them ones where it's like, it's either a character act or they're genuinely inept.
I can't help but think of the start of Cher's song, Do You Believe in Life After Love? And that's that vocal, they changed the voice tuner there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's what he sounds like, do you think?
Yes, Cher. But the electronically modified Cher.
That's what all the singing in this episode will sound like once I have auto-tuned it.
Oh, excellent.
Auto-tune, that's the word I was looking for.
Will all sound like Cher.
So they ran as he came out wailing, and then he spoke into the microphone. And it says here, although so far off, the children could hear his voice as clearly as though we were right near them.
Ooh.
He said, "Hello, are you still there?" I'm putting a voice on there.
That's quite creepy.
Mm.
He said, "Hello, are you still there?"
Yeah, and they thought it seemed friendly, so they went back.
What?
Yeah.
Can you do it a bit more friendly then, please? Because I don't think that was friendly enough.
Yeah.
He went back, and for some reason, even though he could speak, his first communication was in writing, and he wrote on his notepad, "Hello, and I am all colours Sam."
Hello, and I am all colours Sam.
But if he was an alien, that's a pretty good first attempt.
Yeah, I can't speak any alien languages.
You've got to give him some leeway for bad grammar.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That is fair enough.
Thank you for putting me right there, because I was being quite judgmental.
You don't pick someone up when it's their second language at tiny grammar points, do you? For missing out, to get the tense wrong.
Actually, it goes on to say that Faye read each word as it was pointed to, and this was necessary as the words were not laid out in a conventional sequence.
Oh.
So he just wrote a bunch of words on a piece of paper.
And then pointed to them to make a sentence.
And that was the closest to a sentence they could make.
Mm.
It would talk without using the microphone, but apparently it wouldn't move its lips. It wouldn't. I'm trying to say it wouldn't move its lips without moving my lips to sort of...
That's a challenge. It's essentially ventriloquism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you do that again, please? But also in the robot voice and also make it sound friendly.
Hello, are you still there? I think I've fallen down on the last point there.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty scary. That's scary in the first one.
Oh.
His clothes were all ripped, but he said he only had one set and he could only wear these. They asked if he was really a man, and the answer was a chuckled no.
Oh, what?
No, that's not friendly. I mean, fair play, like misgendering and all that sort of stuff. I'm not judging on that at all. But whatever, if you're just try and be less creepy.
I think you're giving him a lot of the creepiness, James, to be honest, because they said in the description he sounded friendly.
They asked if he was a ghost, and he said, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way. And they said, what are you then? And he replied, you know. That's it.
Oh, so is that, is it like, how in what tone did he say it?
Well, it's probably the tone.
Feels like E.T., but with a British television budget. So it's not, instead of coming out cute like a really cute puppet, he's come out awful.
Mac and Me.
Yeah, yes. But with, a British television budget, so even worse than Mac and Me.
It's all about the voice, though, really, and the inflections. I just think you've got it all. If you think of Short Circuit with Johnny Five, if a robot came to life, you would normally be terrified of it.
Yes.
But Johnny Five sounds so friendly. You instantly like him. He's excited. He's pleased to be there.
Yeah.
So I think you really need to revisit this whole episode and re-edit in all your voices
with a
friendlier voice. Yeah.
I think we need to redo all the episodes for me with a friendlier voice.
I've been terrified since the beginning.
Maybe, Alasdair, you could do the voice.
He's good at voices.
Yeah, I can do some. I can't do your...
You could do a good impression of me, can't you?
I can't do an impression of you. I'm James Shakeshaft.
That's very friendly.
I'm James Shakeshaft. That's my impression of you.
Yeah, I'd go to your metal hut near a golf course.
Come to me, children. I'm James Shakeshaft.
Alasdair.
Oh, I've dropped my book.
I've asked you this before and I'll ask you again. Are you a ghost? Yeah.
No, I'm not a ghost, but I am see-through, so it does cause confusion. I am translucent.
I think your ghost, your robot ghost, was much friendlier than James's. I would go into your hut. Would you? Gladly go into your hut.
Thanks, Marek.
You sound like a friendly old cross between Father Christmas and sort of Werther's original bloke.
Oh, that's nice.
That's me. That was an impression of me as well.
So you, James, are the Werther's original bloke.
Now I'm the granddad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's just not as friendly when it comes out of your mouth.
Look away. Look away. Maybe it's the face that's giving the vibes.
Alasdair, can you voice James in future?
Not even in podcasts, just in life. Sam evidently did use a more Alasdair toned voice because he managed to get these children to go into his hut.
I feel like lured is the word.
Yeah, I didn't want to say lure, but I was thinking it.
I think these words are quite defamatory. Is it? Because what about invited? Why can't this alien just invite someone into his hut?
That's true.
Maybe he gestured towards the hut.
The kids might have suggested it. They might have said, what's in the hut? And he was like, what? Well, I'll show you.
Let's go into my hut. My metal hut.
This clown, I think we're forgetting, this clown established that he was scared of humans, right?
Yes. He was frightened of people and scared that they might hurt him.
Oh, wow. My heart has just tightened in my chest.
So the kids went into the weird wooden alien's metal hut. They crawled in through a flap, and the hut inside contained 2 levels. The lower level was they describe it as being wallpapered in blue-green, and the pattern on the wallpaper was lots of little dials. So imagine like a cockpit of a plane with all those buttons, but you turn that into wallpaper.
I'd like that. That'd be good for a kid's bedroom.
I think that would be really cool for a kid's bedroom, actually. I had Superman's. So anyway, these kids were not weirded out by the big wooden clown, and they chatted in his little metal house for a half an hour. He said that he fed upon berries, which he collected in the late afternoon, and he drank water from the river, which he would clean and then drink. How he ate the berries, very intriguing. So he would take a berry and put it in his ear and kind of wobble his head around, and then it would appear in his little triangular eye. And then he'd wobble his head around again. It would appear in his mouth. And he would, I think in some accounts, it said that he moved his head back and forth to kind of eat these berries.
Could you do some sounds for that, please, James?
So into the ear, boop, and then I kind of roll him around the eye, and then num 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 num. Kind of, I'm imagining a sort of Jim Henson vibe. It's quite...
Yes.
And this is pre-Labyrinth, but it contains a lot of the elements of the film Labyrinth.
It's almost exactly the same as the way you would...
Clearly.
I think we're at the cutting edge of describing puppetry in an audio medium. I think because nobody's really tried to do puppets on podcasts up till now.
Whoa, come on, let's not give away our ideas.
Okay.
For free. Yeah, so it's, yum, yum, yum. I'm enjoying my berry. See, friendly. Kindly.
I am actually warming to this guy. He seems to be a vegetarian, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in harmony with the environment. He's polite. Cool wallpaper.
Afraid of people.
Just like us. Into music. Brings his own sound system.
Pretty chill with the whole non-binary thing.
Mm-hmm.
A little vague, though, with the, that would get annoying, I think, after a while. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think we're forgetting the fact he did invite 2 kids into his home.
So friendly, as we've
friendly.
said.
That's a nice thing to do.
Oh, okay, you're fine.
And so they chatted for half an hour. Faye has been interviewed since, and she can't remember what they chatted about, which is really annoying.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it'd be a very memorable encounter, does it?
No. And so they chatted, and then he said, goodbye. Friendly. I think it makes people more friendly if they say friendly after everything they've said. Friendly.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not scary.
Yeah. Otherwise, they would have said scary, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And so these kids who just met a new friend ran off and ran away as fast as they could and told the first adult that they saw that they'd seen a ghost.
Pelted through the marsh.
It was a golfer, I believe, because they ran across the golf course.
Golfer's going to be no use in that situation.
Where I live on the Isle of Wight where I grew up in Bembridge and Whitecliff Bay, the farmer, we moved in and the farmer across the road died shortly afterwards. Nothing to do with us moving in.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
And the 2 fields he had round the back of our house were for sale. And my dad thought, oh no, we're going to get all people, the caravan park's going to buy them. So he bought them and he set up his own golf range.
Wow.
So when I was growing up, he had a field that was 200 yards long, but he lied about the distances.
No one checks.
So he put big netting up at one end. So you go up, and it would say 50 yards at about 45. Then it would be about 100 yards at 80. Then it went to about 250 with about 20 yards gap in between. So everyone thought they were...
Did he just use a really small 200 sign?
Yeah, make smaller signs. People can't tell distances. And all the golf balls he got yellow ones because they were cheaper. So when I used to come home from school on the bus, I could see from the top deck of the bus, I'd look at the fields to see how yellow the fields were to work out how long I'd be out picking up golf balls. So it would close at 6 o'clock and me and my brothers and the family to go out and pick them up by hand. About 5,000 golf balls, sometimes for 2 hours every evening. It was our job.
Wow.
And then we got one of these cars that has these trailers on the back with these machines that pick up golf balls. They sort of squeeze them in. So they're just sort of rubber wheels and they roll, you go over the golf balls and they somehow get lodged in the between the wheels and thrown into the baskets. But also there are ponies on our field as well. We kept ponies for people who wanted to keep them there. And they'd be let out in the fields when the golf range was closed.
Did your dad tell them they were horses?
Yeah. But the downside of this machine that picked up the golf balls was that it also picked up horse because it was the same sort of shape and consistency as a golf ball. So a lot of my youth was spent trying to sort out yellow golf balls and horse. Exciting, right?
It's very much like editing this podcast by the sounds of it.
It's going to be a nightmare to edit, yeah.
There's a golf ball.
Oh, no. That doesn't taste like a golf ball. Why are you tasting golf balls? Well, there was a couple of little addendums to the story. The father of Faye, Mr. Y.
What a name, Mr. Y.
I think he's just being referred to as Mr. Y.
Oh, the letter Y, right. Sorry, yes. I thought he was...
In that sort of old school way.
I thought he was a top-hatted man of intrigue. They called me Mr. Y.
He believed his daughter's story after a little while, and in part because he'd had a couple of particularly peculiar experiences in the recent months. It says he was driving from Shanklin to Ryde via Seaview. That check out?
That's a really weird way to go.
And he was passing through the village of Brading.
Yeah.
And he became aware of a large aircraft to his right, halfway between the road and the downs. And he said it looked enormous and was flying very low. He stopped the car and watched, and then the object began to hover and kind of move around aimlessly over the swampy margins of the River Yar. And then a wide ring of 7 or more lights were seen, and there was a clearly defined sphere like a bright red cherry with turquoise and white lights on it. Sounds like a big bowling ball, actually. It kind of followed him around. He went to his mate's house and showed his mate, and his mate saw it, and describes it as playing hide and seek between the trees and just sort of messing him about.
So this is why we're talking about UFOs, because people reckon he's not a...
Sam the Sandown Clown is not a ghost.
He's an alien.
He's an alien.
And that's his approximation of the human form. And it's rubbish. It's really, really bad and unconvincing.
He'd just seen Thunderbirds and thought that's what people were. And then also he had another experience, which was perhaps a little more scary, at Compton Bay. Is that a place?
Yes.
Yeah. I got Marek on just a fact check. Isle of Wight places. I couldn't be bothered to look up an A to Z.
The Human Atlas. Can you just confirm that these places exist, please, Marek?
Yeah. Yes.
And he was looking at the sea.
Confirmed there is a sea there, yes.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
He could hear sort of droning underwater craft, and he observed 2 points of light, quote, peering up at me like the eyes of some horrible sea monster. And they just sort of disappeared after a bit. And it said he got back in his car and drove home.
He's pretty lucky, this bloke, isn't he? Seen a sea monster and a UFO, and his daughter's seen the...
Met a wooden clown.
Yeah.
It's funny how these things run in families, isn't it?
It makes it seem a lot more true to me.
I think this might be one of the truest stories we've ever encountered on the podcast.
So that's the tale of Sam the Sandown Clown. He was never seen again.
Some might say he was never seen at all.
Yeah, I could have ended that sentence earlier.
That is very odd.
It's the oddest alien I've ever heard of.
It's very different. I can really visualize him.
You've also looked at a picture of him.
That has helped.
So, Alasdair, are you ready to score not just me, not just the Isle of Wight,
yeah,
but Marek and an interplanetary being potentially, who's very friendly?
Yes, I am ready to pass judgment on all of you.
Okay, then, let's go. Let's go first. I think let's ease ourselves in with naming.
Okay, I liked Mr. Y's name.
Mr. Y?
I didn't like the way the second boy was unnamed and unidentified, because that also, I kind of want him to corroborate the story. So not even having a name kind of makes him seem fake.
At the time, the kids did corroborate each other's stories very closely, and that was one of the things that led the evidently quite inquisitive Mr. Y to really believe them.
The inquisitive Mr. Y? Okay, so it sounds like, according to Mr. Y, the little boy did exist, he just doesn't have a name.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to be hassled.
And the name of the clown is Sam the Sandown Clown.
He is all colours. They are all colours. I keep referring to him as a he, but they are not specified gender-wise. So right. I apologise for that. Sam, that was rude of me.
And Sam is a gender-neutral name as well.
Exactly. And I think wooden robots are non-binary by nature.
Yeah.
Have we got any more names? We've got all those names.
What names?
We had...
Lay them on me.
Shanklin?
Oh, the place is Shanklin Lake. The great thing about Lake is there isn't a lake in Lake.
What?
Where it's actually based is Lake, which is Sandown. One I read was that it was sort of Sandown Lake borders, where Lake Common, where they encountered Sam the Clown.
Yeah.
But Lake doesn't have a lake in it.
So how it's got the name Lake?
You'll be telling me that Sandown is marshy and there's no sand at all.
No, there is sand in Sandown.
Oh, thank goodness.
Lake's just like a stream. Maybe it's before lakes were invented.
An early proto-lake.
Yeah, proto-lake, yeah. Maybe that's something to do with Sam himself. He was recording whether it was a lake, whether the river was big enough to be a lake.
Ah, yeah. He was definitely splashing around in the water.
Yeah, and he's wearing a highly visible costume, which council workers have to do before the fluorescent things came in, isn't it?
Fluorescent technology was the stuff of dreams at that point. So all council workers dressed as clowns.
Yes, they said just wear something highly visible. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to make it at home, Sam. You're gonna have to come up with this at home. We haven't got the budget. This is the Isle of Wight Council. We've overspent on daffodil bulbs.
Again.
The advantage of it is you can get about 5 or 6 workmen in one small vehicle if you do it that way. So it's actually very efficient.
Yeah, they just any fancy dress. It doesn't have to be clown. You got a Batman over there, Spider-Man pajamas man who's mowing the lawns.
Are these ghost stories as well? The Spider-Man pajama. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like Fathers for Justice more than a ghost story. Is that possible that Sandown was simply just trying to get his kids back? Just checking. Are you my children? No. All right.
And he was afraid that people were going to hurt him.
In the courts.
But I won't fight back. Don't represent yourself, Sam the Sandown.
It's very hard to make a rousing speech by just pointing to words on a... I mean, this has been fascinating. I love the idea of clowns working for the council. However, it does not particularly credit the story in name terms.
All Colours Sam that's quite a cool... That's like the name of my album.
And that and the Inquisitive Mr. Y, I think, and maybe the fact that Lake hasn't got a lake, maybe we're looking at a 3 tops.
Okay.
3 out of 5.
All right, you drive a hard bargain, but I think we're going to have to settle with that.
Friendly. Just adding the word friendly to make it seem friendly.
It does work.
Yeah, it does work.
Very pleasing.
Just a 3. Friendly. What is the next category?
The next category is supernatural. Yeah. So please bear in mind the fact that he ate berries through his ear.
That's not natural. Yep.
Yeah.
Via his eye. He had to speak through a microphone. This is before karaoke sets were common. 1970s. Certainly not portable.
Yeah. He made that himself. And his home was 2 floors. And despite the fact he was 7 foot tall.
I'm torn between whether this is supernatural or just incredibly incoherent in narrative terms to the point of being an obvious lie. If this guy is an alien, then that's not supernatural. So I guess you have to decide. But
he said, when asked, are you a ghost? He sort of said,
well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way.
That's such an English response. I know Sam is meant to be from space, but that is just the way people from the 1970s talked. I am in an odd sort of way. It's so English. All right. In that case, that has convinced me that he's not an alien and is an interdimensional being, perhaps.
Definitely.
That might explain why he's struggling to take human form.
Yes. And his metal house.
I wouldn't explain the wallpaper.
It's got taste.
No neck. Could explain the no neck, maybe.
It could explain the no neck.
The lack of a neck, yeah.
And don't forget Mr. Y's other experiences.
The space. Well, the spacecraft and the undersea
lights or eyes.
Lights or eyes.
And his clothes were ripped as well. All ghosts have ragged clothes. Everyone knows that's standard ghost wear.
Okay, I'm gonna take a gamble and I'm gonna say it's 5 out of 5 because it's either the creepiest and most supernatural thing that's ever happened, or it's not.
Yes.
Or it's normal and it isn't normal. So
yes. 5. Next category is The Apple Doesn't Fall Far.
Okay, so we've got Mr. Y.
Mr. Y? And his daughter, Faye Y.
And they both have the gift of
lies.
The gift of making stories up that are obviously not true.
Big stories that have travelled the world.
Fair play to them, yes. Yeah. Is that the meaning of the category? Does it have any other dimensions to it?
No, just a fruity way of saying it.
Well, the book didn't fall far from the clown when he dropped that book.
That's true.
So that's just how gravity
and
works.
He didn't go far from his hut. And he ate berries, which are a bit like apples, but a lot smaller.
I don't think it's a full 5 out of 5, and here's my reasoning, because I think the inquisitive Mr. Y, I think he would take every opportunity to weave a fable, to tell you a tale. And yet, adult Faye, when she was asked about the details, she was, I can't remember.
Yeah, we chatted for half an hour.
I can't remember. Just one of those things where you talk to a wooden clown.
In a metal hut. I
think the inquisitive Mr. Y would have taken that opportunity to embellish the tale. So I think it's a 4.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
It's still good. It's a good.
My voice actually did become him, though. I got a bit of a sore throat. That was an unintentional. That's good.
I thought it was friendly.
It'd be great if he slowly started becoming the monster from today onwards.
Like just sort of scratch around my ear and a load of sawdust fell out.
Yeah, like Brundlefly sort of thing, where your fingers start merging into the blue claws.
Three-fingered blue claw.
And your kids say, Daddy, your head's getting a bit pointy this morning.
Your neck seems to be disappearing.
Don't be silly, children. Get me a berry.
Oh, I can't speak properly. Can you pass me that microphone?
Is this on?
So what's the final category?
Final category. I've tried this before and it's not worked, but I've got high hopes for it this time.
Okay.
It's It from Stephen King's It.
5 out of 5.
Yes.
It is It from Stephen King's It.
Yes.
It's even gender neutral.
Pennywise turned out to be female, but presented as male throughout.
I've already passed judgment, James.
Damn.
Don't try and erode the solid block of 5 I've pushed in your direction.
Yes. Fantastic. That is redemption. What you're witnessing there, Marek, is redemption.
It was wonderful to see it on your birthday of all days.
Yeah, of all days.
That's my gift to you, the gift of 5. And that song from earlier.
Oh, yes. That's 2 great gifts. Well, thank you very much, Marek.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So where can people find your things? You've got YouTube?
YouTube.
You've got YouTube?
If you like ghost walks, then I do a thing called Cool Dudes Walking Club, which I go on walks and talk nonsense. There's quite a few ghost walks I've been on, past the famous Nightingale Gorges and then places in London as well. So if they like your podcast, which obviously they do, if they're listening to this point.
Yeah.
Imagine if they've got this point and they just can't stand it. They're like, oh, another episode. Flipping heck.
I don't understand how podcasts work. This had better end soon.
Why did I agree to listen to every episode of this podcast with these people I can't stand?
Well, if I particularly appeal to sadists. So they can look on there. I've got a YouTube.
What's it called?
Marek Larwood or Cool Dudes Walking Club. You can see my YouTube videos of, I mean, some are awful, but that's what it's for, isn't it?
I've seen most of the London Haunted Walk ones, and I really, really enjoy them. They're very fun.
When you do a ghost walk, it always says Charles Dickens used to frequent this pub. Every single pub in London. Charles Dickens went on there.
It's amazing you got any writing done, to be honest. You have been listening to Loremen with me, Alasdair Beckett-King.
And me, James Shakeshaft.
And Deputy Loreperson Marek Larwood.
Please check out his videos on that YouTube thing. And if you want more, then there is more on our Patreon. I was very brutal in my editing.
There's a whole yogurt riff gone.
There's a dairy and dairy substitute.
A whole
cut.
yogurt subplot is missing from this edit.
Release the dairy substitute cut is what the internet's going to be screaming. Well, you can do that if you join us on patreon.com/LoremenPod.
Happy birthday, Jimmy Shakes. I hope you got some creamy bakes. I really hope you don't die soon and you enjoyed this lovely tune.